Hello everyone, my name is Mira Naimi and today I'm going to show you how to solve a real-life problem for inverse variation. The number of hours to fill a candy shop varies inversely with the number of employees. A 1600 square foot candy shop can be filled in 30 hours by 10 employees. How many employees would need to work in order to fill the candy shop in 12 hours? So the first thing we have 30 hours and 10 employees. We're going to multiply that. 30 times 10 equals 300. We're going to do the same thing to the second one. 12 times E equals 300. Then we're going to divide. 12 divided by 12, we're going to cancel it. Then 300 divided by 12 equals D, 25 employees.
Inverse variation, real-life problem done by Shad Khamis, grade 11 G1. At first, let's take a small introduction. The inverse variation occurs when x increases and y decreases. The equation of the inverse variation is y equals k over x. Y and x are points and the k is a constant number. Or we could say y x equals k. If the values of x and y all turned out the same, that means it is an inverse variation. What I mean in this sentence is that when we multiply y and x and they give us the same product for each and every point, that means that it is an inverse variation. Direct variation is the opposite of inverse variation because it occurs when y increases and x increases correspondingly. Let's take this real-life problem. If 12 students completed their project in 8 days, how many days would it take for 6 students? Let's mark students as X and days as Y. As you can see here in this table, I've plotted my points and I've had a missing number here. So let's try to find it. We want to find the number of days would it take for 6 students to complete their project. At first, we're going to multiply these two numbers together. They give me a product of 96. That means that if I find the number of y here and multiplied it by 6, it's going to be also 96. Because if we had the same product for each point, it means that we have an inverse variation. So let's try to find y. Yx equals k. I plotted x as 6 and y, which is the missing number, multiplied it by 6, which gave me 6y. And the k, which is the constant, when I multiplied 12 and 8, it gave me 96. We're going to divide 6 in both sides. So it's going to give me a product of y equals 16. So we finally came to the conclusion that the missing number is 16. So that means that 6 students can finish their project in 16 days. Thanks for watching.
A real-life situation for inverse variation by Al-Jazi Muhammad. Inverse variation reminder: an increase in x causes a decrease in y. The number of hours required to replant a farm varies inversely with the number of farmers. A 10 square meter farm can be replanted in 27 hours by 6 farmers. How many farmers would need to work in order to replant the farm in 18 hours? Table. This table represents x hours, y farmers, and inverse variation. The farm can be replanted within 27 hours by 6 farmers. 27 multiplied by 6 equals 162. And now we need to find how many farmers to replant the farm within 18 hours. The inverse variation must be 162. Calculation. Step 1. Divide 18 hours over 18, which will be cancelled. Step 2. Divide the inverse variation over 18 hours, which will equal to 9 farmers. Final table. Now as you can see, we have 9 farmers to replant the farm within 18 hours. To be sure, 18 multiplied by 9 equals 162. Finally, you can replant your farm within 18 hours only.
A real life situation, inverse variation, done by Aisha Al-Abeidli, grade 11G2, teacher Miss Fatma Ibrahim. Now what is inverse variation? When x increases, y decreases. When x decreases, y increases. Therefore, when something increases, the other decreases. When there are lots of chefs in the kitchen, the time it takes to do the dishes will decrease. And when there are less chefs in the kitchen, the amount of time to do the dishes will increase.
A real-life situation for inverse variation, done by Ahmed Al-Hosani 11G2. If there are more people working on the task, it will be completed in less time. If there are fewer people working on the task, it will be completed in more time. So the quantities are inverse variation. Thank you.
A real-life situation for inverse variation, done by Fatma Sultan Al-Sa'abi 11G1. If you have plenty of people helping you paint the house, then you are most likely to finish painting in less time. However, if there are less people helping you paint the house, then it will probably take more time. So the quantities are inversely variation.
We're having a good day. My name is Noor Aryami and today I'll be saying a real life situation for inverse variation. When you travel to a particular location, as your speed increases, the time it takes you to arrive at the location decreases. When you decrease your speed, the time it takes you to arrive at the location increases. So the quantities are inversely proportional. Thank you.
Inverse variation in real life situations by Shamil Hosseini 11G2. Distance. The airplane travels to a different country every day. When the plane speed increases, the time to arrive the country decreases. But if the plane speed decreases, the time to arrive increases. So the quantities are inversely variation.
Inverse variation in real life situation, done by Shamma Ali 11G1. Real life situation. When the airplane travels from one place to another, as its speed increases, the time it takes to arrive decreases. And this shows us inverse variation, since one increases and the other decreases. Another life situation to show inverse variation. When you buy something from a store, as you buy more things, the amount of stuff you have increases and the amount of money you have decreases. And this also shows us inverse variation since one increases and the other decreases.